and blessings, Mishkan. Baruchim Abayim. Welcome to each and every one of you. I'm Yomori for this channel, Malki Uriel. And yes, you're at the right place at the right time. This is, of course, Shabbat Morning Coffee. And as previously stated, I am Yomori for this channel. There is a possibility that, yes, you may never have heard the word of Yah. You may have never heard the word of the Most High. Or perhaps you've heard it glossed over. Well, hey, like I said, you're in the right place at the right time, because we will definitely introduce the word of Yah to you. It is different than any other word. It is different than any other so-called truth. It is different. Why is it different? One, because it comes from the Most High, as has been handed down to us from our forefathers in the volume and corpus of material that we would call the Tanakh. The Tanakh itself is an acronym for three different things put together. The T sound in Tanakh actually is the Torah. It stands for the first 5 books of Moses, the first 5 books that by tradition, and not by proof, but by tradition has been attributed to Moshe. But yet and still we also have evidence within the scriptures themselves, according to Deuteronomy 31:9, that Moshe actually did write. And so there is a literary tradition within ancient Israel. Well, the Torah is the T sound in Tanakh. And yes, peace and blessings to my sister. So glad to see her. Chanaya Israel. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. Also, the N sound in Tanakh is, as you know, the Nevi'im. And the Nevi'im is the prophets. Well, that's the second portion of the Tanakh. And of course, there is the final portion, the K or the Q sound, which is the Ketuvim, HaKetuvim. It means the writings, and you will find things there that are of later derivation, which is why the book of Daniel is there, 1st and 2nd Chronicles is there, because these are retellings, if you will, of what has already gone forward. Well, with that being the case, we give you truth as has been based upon that particular body of material. And we warn you in advance, there are conventions within the Tanakh that you don't find anyplace else. Well, what are you talking about, Moray? What are you talking about? I'm so glad that you asked, because one of the conventions that some have said, well, see, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. But actually it does. It means a lot, because we have, our Father, if you will, the Most High. He is someone who says, you know what, I don't change. The way I roll is the way I roll. Get with it, right? Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I don't change. I don't change anything concerning the covenant. I don't change at all. I am who I am, okay? Now, please keep in mind that the Most High himself, he has established laws, statutes, and commandments that he expects us to do. Never, ever will you find where salvation is dependent upon faith and just believing in something. You will never find that to be a convention or a form or a formula for salvation. You will never find that in the Tanakh. But what you will find is that someone will have to act on what they know to be the truth. And only then can you somehow presuppose, well, they would almost have to believe it in order to do it. Well, okay, fine. But faith alone, you have no salvation in faith alone. In fact, in the Tanakh itself, there are many instances where the Most High says, and then you're going to know that I am the Lord your God. In other words, he was doing things for people that did not know that he was the Lord their God. And he even gives you an example in Hosea. He says, you know what, hey, check out this woman over here. You know, she over there giving stuff to idols and praying to idols. She don't even know that I'm the one that's doing that. But hey, I'm going to keep on blessing her, because even through her ignorance, I want her to come to finally understand who I am. Well, we find that to be the case. We find that to be the case pretty much all of the time, even in this present day and age, where the Most High does have mercy on those that are worshiping him incorrectly. But also, as we have noted from the book of Exodus, from the book of Shemot, Exodus is the Greek word, just as Genesis is a Greek word. We, of course, many times mention the Hebrew word instead of Genesis, Breshit, instead of Exodus, Shemot. And we continue that aspect, okay? And well, in Shemot, you also find with the Most High also, yeah, he drops the hammer on idolatry. He drops the hammer on disobedience. So there's only a set amount of time that the Most High says, you know what? Man, listen, I'm gonna give you some time to get right, okay? I'm gonna give you some proofs. I'm gonna send some people to talk to you. I'm giving you some time to get it right. But there will come a time where the Most High will be like, hey, grace period is up. It's time to deal with you in the dealing way. Time to drop the hammer. Well, we don't want that to happen. Therefore, we speak truth into our brothers and sisters, as has been found in the corpus of material that we call the Tanakh. We embrace it. And not only do we embrace it, we also, we have our own app where we provide the Tanakh from a Hebrew perspective. And of course, this is a work that is ongoing. This is a work that I'm constantly adding my notes to it, of things that I see in the Hebrew and concepts and understandings and synchronicities between writings and concepts and the way that the Most High would have us to do things. For those of you that do not know, many a times we call this particular way, well, we just call it the way, and the reason why we do so is because, ask yourself the question, in the beginning, right? In the beginning, what religion did Adam and Eve had? Well, you come up with goose eggs, zero, nothing, nada. There was no religion. What was there? There was simply the obedience to the word of the Most High, walking with the Most High personally and living life with each other and with the Most High. And that is what we embrace. We do not embrace, corporate religion per se, but we follow the way. We follow a connection with the Most High, aka a covenant with the Most High, and we simply obey His word. We believe in spirituality and not, organized religion. No, we don't subscribe to that. We just, listen, we want to go back to the garden. We want to go back to paradise. And we simply want there to be, we want there to be truth. We want there to be a communion with the Most High. And that is what we do. Well, I greet you all in the name of the Most High. On this channel, you will find that we call His name by the more ancient pronunciation with the silent Hey convention, which allows the Tetragrammaton to be pronounced as Ya'o. With that being the case, we then, embrace the Most High. We even use the shortened form as is found in Psalms 68:4, which is just simply to say Yah. I greet you all. We love the Most High. We love to follow His laws, statutes, and His commandments. We follow His word. And we do unto righteousness. Righteousness is not belief, but righteousness is doing the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. And so for those of you that would follow me and say, you know what, I'm going to serve the Most High alone. He did not give us license to serve anyone else. He did not give us a mediator. You find nowhere in the Tanakh where He says, hey, I'm going to give you a mediator. There's nothing that you can do for me or no way you can be pleasing to me unless you come through this mediator. That was not the case. That has never been the case. We also find that if there was any individual that is documented, that has been mentioned, if there was any individual that would have been a mediator, we find that it would have been Moshe. For there is no other man that the Most High spoke to face as He would a friend. Not even Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans. In fact, there is not a single time where it is witnessed where the Most High spoke to Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, in the Christian New Testament. There is not a single reference. Where we come close is you come close in Mark 1:11, where it says, and a voice came down from heaven and said, this is my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased. Actually, if you notice, there's a couple of things. Listen, we're going to move forward, but I got to mention this. Because if you notice, The voice supposedly said, "This is my beloved son, in whom I am well pleased." 6 words. But if you notice, there's also 6 words that have been omitted from the original quotation of that verse. This is my beloved son, in whom I have begotten today, or this day, you could say. I mean, hey, yeah, you take a look at it, and they replaced 6 words with 6 other words, in whom I'm well pleased, instead of this day have I begotten thee. Well, okay, long story short, they did that on purpose. They've been manipulating scriptures on purpose, okay? And with that being the case, we just, even if you were to take Mark 1 and 11 and say, okay, see, God did speak from heaven. Well, you see, we have a problem with that. One, you believe that Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, you believe that he is God and that everything that he says is gospel. Why is that a problem? Because in John 5 and 37, the one who you believe is God, which is blasphemous, you believe that his words are true. He said, you all have never, ever heard the voice of God at any time. Well, that negates what happened in Mark 1 and 11, because apparently then it did not happen. Either Yeshua ben Yosef, called Jesus by the Greeks and the pagans, either he's lying or Mark 1 and 11 is lying. Either way, there's a huge kink in the armor and that boat just won't float. So there's an issue. There's an issue with that. The Most High has never spoken in the New Testament. The Most High has never said a word in the New Testament. And we find, as I invoke once again, Isaiah 8 and 20, hey, when it comes to this law and this testimony, I don't care what they're saying. I don't care if Paul said it. I don't care if they put it in the mouth of Jesus. I don't care who they put it in the mouth of a bird, a dove, and call it the Holy Ghost. Whatever you say that you're calling it, if it does not line up with the word of the Most High, then of course, Isaiah 8 and 20 says, there is no light in them. Therefore, we do not respect them as bringers of light, but bringers of darkness, and we shun it. Yes, we run away from the darkness. We're staying in the light. Yes, we're remaining enlightened in the light of the Most High. Well, with that being the case, how then shall we be saved? Well, I'm glad that you asked. Just simply acknowledge that the Most High is himself, the creator of heavens and the earth. He is your only savior, according to Isaiah 43 and Isaiah 44. And understand that he is alone. There are no other thrones next to him. There's no one sitting with him in his throne. No one is, riding piggyback. No one is sitting on his lap. No, he is there alone. He is there alone. Why? Because he is the one that has created heavens and the earth. Therefore, we only worship him. We only acknowledge him as being the one, the true, and the only Elohim that we serve. Well, that being the case, then we follow the law, statutes, and the commandments. And I know some of you would say, man, but wait a minute, but there's 613. There's 613. Well, okay, they've been abbreviated, and in fact, according to Deuteronomy 4 and 13, yes, even the 10 declarations are a miniature form of the covenant. They are even a covenant themselves. And so those of you that will follow along with us, those of you that would follow along with us and say, you know what, I'm going to repent from my sin of creating an idol, a mental image that has been handed down to me by pagans who have formed a doctrine and a belief that sounds good, sounds holy, but goes against the word of the Most High. I'm going to stick with the Most High and I'm going to worship only him. I'm repenting for the sin of believing that someone could die for me, because the Tanakh never, ever endorses human sacrifice, never endorses the simulating of drinking human blood and eating human flesh. That's pagan, that's disgusting. And by the way, we don't flow that way. So guess what? Salvation doesn't come that way either. So we're going to flush that down the toilet where it goes, where it belongs. And you know what? We're just going to follow the Most High with all of our heart. Well, if that's you would say, you know what? I'm going to repent from that sin. Then you will follow along with us as we say that we will have no other Elohim before the one true creator of mankind, heaven and earth, and everything that there is within the earth. We only follow him, though the spirit world may be populated as is noted by 1 Kings 21 and 21, that it's populated with spirit beings in other dimensions, but we will only serve the Most High. He alone is our creator. He alone is our help, and we're created in his image. Also, we will not make anything of wood, stone, steel, plastic, whatever. We will not make anything to bow down and worship. Neither will we create an idea, an ideological idol, where we bow in our hearts and we bow in our minds to this image that has been created in the minds and in the hearts of individuals. We will not do it. We only serve the Most High with all of our heart, with all of our might, with all of our strength. We will not take the name nor the presence. We will not take the name nor the presence nor the character of the Most High in vain, but we will walk in his ways, and we will honor his name by fulfilling everything that we have vowed in his name. We will do it in honor of truth and righteousness before him. Also, we remember Shabbat to keep it holy, that during the daylight hours of Shabbat, even this day, we do no work. We do no work, but we rest before him, and we embrace the word of the Most High. We fellowship with him and with family members and each other, and in this we celebrate Shabbat. We understand that we are allowed to leave our homes, our places of dwelling during Shabbat, to go out and to have Shabbat services or to commune with those who are also celebrating Shabbat. And so we do honor Shabbat and keep it holy. Also, we honor our mothers and our fathers. We honor our ancestors, that our days may be long upon the earth, for it is the first commandment with promise, and we honor them. Yes, we even honor them even in our adult age. We give them the honor that they deserve, and we stand upon the shoulders of our ancestors, and we forever acknowledge them. We're mindful that even the name of our Elohim, yes, our ancestors have been lent to the name of our Elohim, for he is the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Yaakov, and we exalt him. So we honor our mothers and our fathers, and we worship and serve the God of our forefathers, and not some newly came up. And so we do honor our mothers and our fathers. We will not shed innocent blood. We call this committing murder. We don't do that. We will not commit adultery. We will not steal. We will not be a false witness in any matter of judgment. And we also do not covet. One big reason why we don't covet, because we ain't got to. We have blessings that are looking for us. We've got blessings that are hunting us down. We have blessings and situations that are waiting to develop on our behalf. And we exalt the Most High in that. And we say, thank you. We say, Todah, Todah Rabbah, thank you very much. We say, thank you, thank you, thank you. If you speak Twi, you're saying, Madasepa, thank you very much for the blessings that you give unto me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We don't have to beg anyone. We follow in his law, statutes, and his commandments, and we rejoice in the Most High. Well, if that's you and you're saying, you know what, Morey, as of today, I am changing. I am turning a new leaf. I'm only going to worship and serve the Most High and him alone. And I thank you for that. Well, some would ask, well, I mean, like, if you don't do that, like, what's the difference? I did have someone ask that question. They asked me that question. They said, hey, well, what is the difference between what you're talking about, the way? What is the difference between that and Christianity? Well, Christianity has a built-in clause. I'm going to tell you about it. Christianity has a built-in clause that if you believe that someone gave their life for you, you now owe them your life. You have to give your soul to them. You got to give your life to them. And guess what you always see in the movies where the devil comes and he's like, hey, I'm going to give you all this, but hey, by the way, you got to sign on the dotted line and give me your soul, right? Well, Christianity has the same clause built in where, yes, you do have to give your heart and your soul to this individual that they say died for you. Though, again, there is no legal precedent in the Tanakh where someone can die for you. In fact, I could go there. I've given this foundation many times. I feel like I don't have to do it. I feel like it's in so many other of my lessons here on YouTube. And by the way, we're on YouTube, we're on Rumble, I don't know if we're still on Twitch and wherever else, Facebook. Hey, I've given it so many different times. I really think you can find it. I really do think you can find it. It is a prevalent concept that we mention all the time because it is foundational, and I feel like you should be able to find it. So hey, I may not go over it unless it's asked for. If some of you in the chat room be like, hey, no, I want you to give me that, give me them scriptures, that foundation, I will do it. But for right now, hey, I'm pretty sure that it's something that has been rehearsed so many different times on this channel, especially if you're regular here in the chat room. And I just simply want to say, those of you that are watching, I'm glad that you're watching. I'm so thankful that you're watching. There's some of you watch, and I do appreciate it, but you have not smashed that subscribe button. We really need your help. All we're doing is giving you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it has been handed down to us in the Tanakh. Yes, this is what we're doing, and so we need your help. Let us know that, hey, I'm kind of with you here, right? I'm with you. So hit that subscribe button. It is really encouraging to us. It really is. And it helps us a lot. So do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue because not only do we follow the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, but we also pray. I'll be right back, and we're going to get into our prayer.
Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Oh.
Yeah, we pray differently. What do you mean we pray differently? Well, we take inventory first, and we ask ourselves the question first. Because we know that the Most High does not hear sinners. All that garbage about a sinner's prayer, listen, man, all that's made up by Christianity, okay? Flush that down the toilet where it belongs and understand that the Most High, his love language is obedience, okay? And so we ask ourselves, first of all, hey, have I purposely set out to disobey the laws, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High? And for those of us that follow his laws, those of us that love the Most High, will often come up with a resounding no. Okay, sometimes a HE double hockey sticks, no, but no, we say no, we did not on purpose set out to disobey the law, statutes, and the commandments of the Most High. But then we say, well, is it possible that we may have done something that the Most High does not agree with? And I bring this up as an example, as I have many times before. It deserves, in fact, it's a good example. In fact, it is written in the scriptures that the Most High objects to taking the hen and the eggs of that particular fowl and eating them, taking them at the same time, okay, and using them for a meal at the same time. The Most High is concerned about, the ecosystem and how things are established. And he says, you know what, take one or the other, okay? Take one or the other. Take the eggs. I mean, if you want some omelets, go ahead, take the eggs. But don't do a chicken omelet. Don't take the mother hen and the eggs. Don't mix them together, okay? It's because of that someone might say, well, see, we can't eat chicken egg foo young because they have eggs and we don't know if those eggs are the eggs of the very chicken that's in the chicken egg foo young. Well, of course, we know that, yeah, that is something that scripture does not condone. So there may be other things like that where we say, man, I don't know if I did that or not. I mean, I don't know if there was eggs and chicken together in something or not. I don't know. So we say, hey, you know what? Let me come before the Most High, seeking mercy. Let me come before the Most High, because there is a possibility that I may have messed up somewhere and I just don't know it. Well, I don't want to just assume that I'm all right. So let me come before the Most High with mercy. And that's what we do. Well, we come before the Most High with mercy. right? Because we establish his word, and his word is very important to us. His word is important to us more than anyone that's written in that book called the Bible, especially someone called an Apostle Paul or one of the disciples. Are you kidding me? The word of the Most High reigns so high, so far above them. We do not take their words to be the words of the Most High. If it doesn't pass the agreement test, then we flush it down the toilet. Well, with that being the case, we pray and we give honor unto the Most High, and we come for mercy. But we do the inner work first, and we first of all forgive ourselves where we've messed up, and we also forgive anyone else that does deserve forgiveness. By the way, those that deserve forgiveness are not those that simply say, I'm sorry, but it's those who demonstrate by action that they no longer do you wrong and violate you. They've proven it consistently. If they've proven it consistently, then they deserve to be forgiven, right? Because that's the scripture, Ezekiel 18 verses 20 through 23. But if the jury is still out, then guess what? The jury is still out and they're not forgiven yet. I know Christianity says you got to forgive everybody for everything. Again, I say that does not agree with the Tanakh. Therefore, flush that concept down the toilet where it belongs. I need a toilet flushing soundbite. Flush it down the toilet where it belongs. And yes, that's where it belongs, because the Tanakh does not say it. Well, okay, so with that being the case, then we go before the Most High and we seek him in mercy. And so I'm going to give you some time, to just do a little bit of inner work. Let's get ready to pray. Forgive someone if they've demonstrated that they're worthy of forgiveness. Forgive yourself, right? If you've made the change in your heart and you're set out to demonstrate that you're going to do right, definitely forgive yourself, right? If you find that you merit that. And of course, let's get ready, because we're going to pray. Let's get ready. ברוך אתה, יאון, אנחנו אומרים לפניך שאתה הברוך בהשמיים, בארץ, בכל הארץ, בכל העולם, כי אתה מלך העולם. We say before you, Most High, our Elohim, that you are blessed in the heavens, you are blessed in the earth, and you are blessed in all of the universe, for you are the King of the universe. Gam anachnu ha'av shalabrit shelech. We are the people of your covenant, and we come before you. Anachnu boim lifnecha. We come before you, Most High. We are your people, and we stand upon your word. We stand upon the covenant. We stand upon your truth. We stand upon that eternal truth that you have given unto us, and we honor you in righteousness. It is our delight to do the laws, statutes, and commandments that you've given us, for you have detailed what righteousness is in your word, in the laws, in the commandments, and in the statutes. You've already declared how a man should act to his brother, how a husband should act toward his wife, how the parents should act towards their children, how we should act in this society and in this world. And you've already detailed what righteousness is, and we delight to walk in that righteousness. We delight to walk in that truth. We do not use a substitute that has been handed to us by religion, a substitute that is built upon the foundation of human sacrifice and drinking human blood and eating human flesh. These things are pagan and they are detestable to us, for we stand upon your word. You have never condoned child or human sacrifices, let alone the drinking of their blood and the eating of their flesh. But yet, because of the pagans that have instituted these lies, there are many of your people that have gone astray, Most High, and they believe in the drinking of human blood and the eating of human flesh. They believe in it. They believe that it is for their salvation, and it has been made famous by false religions all over the world, by false preachers all over the world. They find inner peace, and they find a false inner peace, and they think that they have salvation because they believe in this, and they condemn, they speak against those that would speak the word of your truth. And by saying that you simply must obey the law, statutes, and the commandments. Most High, we thank you and we honor you. For your way is equal. Your way is right. Your way is good. We do good unto each other. We love each other as a family. We're joined together as a community. And we thank you for what you are doing in our midst. You're uniting us together even closer. You're causing us to be your people, to be a community, and you're establishing your covenant with us. Even members of this community, you are establishing your covenant with us. We thank you for our beautiful elder, Leonie Croning, who is she is progressing. She is looking wonderful. You're strengthening her, and she is doing what she has not done in a long time. You're strengthening her body. You're reviving her youth, and we thank you for that. Our brother George Evans, we thank you for being with him in every one of his health concerns and every issue that he could name before you. We thank you that you are the answer, you are the solution, and you're manifesting your covenant. Most High, you're manifesting your covenant on behalf of us all, and we thank you for it. We thank you that it is the covenant that brings the blessings. It is our obedience to that covenant that brings the blessings. And we thank you. It is not something called faith. It is not it is because we walk in covenant with you. And we thank you, Most High, for what you're doing. We ask that you would bless us this day. Join us together even closer and cause us, Most High, cause us to learn more about you. For the entire Tanakh is about you. It's not about Abraham. It uses Abraham's life to show how good you are and how faithful you are to the covenant. It's not about David. It's not about Elijah or Elisha, but it's about you, and we honor you, Most High. In your name and your name alone do we pray. In your name and your name alone do we stand upon your righteous word. Thank you for giving us strength to do your word. In your name and your name alone, Yah. Aman wa aman. Well, praise the Most High. Praise the mighty Yah, for he indeed is our Elohim, and we exalt him. And of course, we also often have a praise where we give praise unto the Most High. And yes, that means music, and I think we did last week, and we're just going to go ahead. I know I've talked a little bit too much earlier. In the interest of time, we're just going to move right on, and we're going to move into giving some shout outs. Let me tiptoe into the chat room, and let me just look at the fam that's here in the chat room. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Peace and blessings. Now listen, if y'all ask me to do a praise song, of course, right? I would, right? But hey, let's keep it moving. The first person to turn the lights on was none other than our Minister of Safety and Security. I'm talking about my brother from another mother. I'm talking about, Bergen Paris. Peace and blessings to you. My brother Bergen Paris, who keeps a brother laughing. He really does. I appreciate him. Our elder was the one who turned on the coffee pot this morning for Shabbat morning coffee. Peace and blessings to you, Christine Croning. Leonie, we love you, love you, love you. I'd give you a big hug if I could. I love you, elder. And I thank the Most High for you. My brother's also here, Raymond Ratcliffe. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. Also, we have with us Mrs. Seeds. Hey, Miss Seeds. How you doing, Miss Seeds? I believe you that One Planet Seed, but now you're going under that handle. But peace and blessings to you. Glad that you're here. Oh my goodness, listen, I feel like getting up doing a dance. I feel like doing a jig because my sister Kanaya Israel is here. We miss you. Think about you. We're glad that you're here. Peace and blessings to you and the hubby. Glad that you are here right now. May the Most High bless you down to your kneecaps. May the Most High bless you. Glad that you are here, my sister. Miss H is in the house, the lovely Miss H. Peace and blessings to you, Miss H. Glad that you are here. Also, we have, I don't want to miss anyone, so as I scroll down, we have Crystal Moody. Crystal, hey, Crystal, how you doing, Crystal? Good to see you, Crystal. I'm glad that you're here. Glad that you're here, my sister. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, we have our brother George Evans in the house. Peace and blessings to you. My brother Ben Naftali is here, and also Michael Charles Marsh is here. Peace and blessings to you. You know, you didn't share with us, brother. What I don't think you shared what you were eating for last Shabbat. I wanted to know what you were eating, Michael Charles Marsh, for last Shabbat. I don't know, unless you shared it and I missed it. A lot of times I don't see every chat, and I miss a lot of the chats, okay, because I'm literally operating controls, almost like I'm in the space shuttle over here. But hey, I probably didn't see it if you said it, but I'm interested again. I'm wondering what you cooked, my brother. I'm wondering what you cooked. Let me continue. Mr. Weeze is in the house. Peace and blessings to you, Mr. Weeze. Glad to see you, man. I hope you've had a wonderful week thus far. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. That's Mr. Weeze. Mr. Weeze. Also, we have with us, let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody. We have Salvatore Marines, okay. Or Salvatore Marinesi, 9118. Hopefully I did not butcher that up. We don't go by the Christian New Testament, the 1 Corinthians 6 and 20. If it does not agree with the word of the Most High, then we really don't care about any of the Christian New Testament, okay? What the Most High has said, that is what we allow to dominate our consciousness and dominate the concepts that we embrace as truth. The Apostle Paul means very little to us if he's not speaking the truth, okay? We're not mesmerized by, oh, Paul said, or it's in the New Testament and it's in the Bible, so it's got to be the way. No, there are places I can show you where there are places, where there are places where lies have been put in the scriptures. And by the way, even in Romans 6 and 3, the Apostle Paul said, hey, I lied. So if I lied to the glory of God, then why you got a problem with it? So we don't subscribe. No, we don't subscribe to him at all, because he does not speak in line with what the Most High has said. Our allegiance is to the Most High, not to some New Testament or not to Paul. Okay, we are not mesmerized by. We're not mesmerized by, you know, some people are mesmerized by social proof. What do you mean by social proof? Well, I'm glad you asked. Social proof is when people say, well, everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. 1.2 billion people can't be wrong. So Christianity's got to be right because 1.2 billion people are doing it. Well, hogwash. Again, this would be a great place for a toilet flushing soundbite, because that belongs flushed down the toilet. Because it is truth that we honor. We do not follow a multitude to do wickedness, to do evil, but we stand upon the word of the Most High, which endures forever. Hallelujah. Peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you. Peace and blessings to you. We have none other than the true gem right here. The true gem is with us. How you doing, my sister? Glad that you're with us. Peace and blessings to you. May the Lord bless your kneecaps. Also, we have with us, did I miss anybody? We've got Queasy Yehuda 3327. Peace and blessings to you. Glad that you are here. And I believe that oh, okay, my brother Michael Charles Mars said, man, he said, look, on Shabbat, I go real easy. Like, he like, look, man, I do a chicken sandwich, I do a PB&J, and I get it. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that at all. When I come back, we will get into our Torah portion. We're going to go right straight into the Torah portion. When I return, don't go nowhere. Get your coffee, get your notes, because this is going to be good.
Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Oh.
just want to state for the record, I know that that's AI, but AI has got me looking old. I don't look that old. I'm just saying. I mean, look, I ain't hung up about it, but I'm just saying, I don't look that old. All right, our main topic is, of course, our Torah portion for today. Now, those of you that follow the Torah portions, I simply want to let you know that, one, that we have scheduled the Torah portions not based on some arbitrary kind of, we're just going to follow everyone else, but we based the schedule of the Torah portions upon what the Most High said was the beginning of months for us, which is the month of Aviv, which is latter part of March, early part of April. And so with that being the case, we have our Torah portion. And for those of you that have the app, now, what am I talking about? We have our own Tanakh app. Yes, we do. The Most High has blessed us to have our own Tanakh app where we present the Torah from a Hebraic perspective, and we don't have to weigh through all of the Christianisms that have been interlaced into our scriptures. Of course, looking at Maccabees, 2 Maccabees chapter 3, verses 45 through 48, we find that, yes, the heathen always desire to get their hands on our material. And of course, the New Testament is proof that they succeeded. It's proof that there's not always a happy ending, that yes, sometimes you don't get to ride off into the sunset when it comes to certain things, but in the end, the Most High will give you the victory. And so with that being stated, the New Testament is proof that they did succeed in their endeavor, for they put their concepts, their images, which is why people are worshiping an image of a Savior that is not substantiated by the Tanakh. And so with that being the case, hey, basically they succeeded, but we are endeavoring to present our truth from our Hebraic perspective. You can go to, in fact, you can download it. You can even go there and get hatanakh.online. You can go to hatanakh.online. There'll be an option for you to actually put the icon on your phone. And this app is, of course, our Tanakh, our Hebraically centered Tanakh app. And of course, as I mentioned before, I am always updating it. I'm always making sure that we have a Hebraic perspective. Well, if you notice here, you're able to go to portions. Okay, now let me just note this, because you see here that there's a star and there's the word upgrade. It's actually cut off on the screen here, but the word upgrade is actually there. Why is that word there? Because you're going to find out that there are more items here that you can use to study with. It will read to you. You're able to come to the community section and you're able to share your thoughts. You're able to share some things, and you all have been writing here, and I appreciate it. This is great. This is community. And so long story short, I mean, I love it. I love it. Our brother Adrian has been commenting. I appreciate it. And so long story short, I really do appreciate you all actually commenting. So there's a number of different other things that we have. Someone was actually trying to reach me and I wasn't getting the message from our team. But yeah, so with that being the case, yeah, we understand that was an issue, but it's no longer an issue. We have resolved that, as well as for other individuals that, that needed work, needed help. Yeah, we've also resolved that as well. So that is the Hatanakh section. Okay. But you're able to come here to portions. And if you notice, this week's portion is already there for you. It is Shemot chapters 25 through 27, and you're able to click read, and yes, it takes you right to that portion. And of course, for those of you that are helping us through the upgrade, you will be able, it'll read to you. You'll have scholarly insights. There's a study journal. You're able to toggle it in Hebrew and in English. There's cross references. Again, there's a lot more that you're able to do. Okay. And now it's automatic. Our team resolved the issue that we were having before. And so now everything works fine. Well, let's go ahead and let's begin reading. And of course, here we go. I'm going to begin at Shemot 25 and verse number 1. Notice what it reads. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring me an offering of every man that gives it willingly. That gives it willingly with his heart. Again, please note, that gives it willingly with his heart. It's not mandatory. You don't have to give it. Now, please understand that this is something that is should be noted, okay? Because the Most High is establishing his kingdom with those who have a willing heart to do so. He doesn't want anyone to be under duress or by compulsion, or you better do this or you going to hell. No, that is not the way that the Most High moves. And from this, we gather how the Most High moves. You have to have a willing heart in order to cooperate with the Most High. So he says, yes, give. Okay, those of you that want to. If you don't want to, then you don't have to give. You don't have to be a part of what's going on. Okay. And this is the offering which basically, they're going to give gold, silver, and brass, and they're going to give blue, purple, scarlet, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram skins dyed red, and badger skins, and shittim wood, oil for the light, spices for anointing oil, and for sweet incense, onyx stones, verse number 7, onyx stones to be set in the ephod, and in the breastplate, and let them make me a sanctuary, that I may dwell among them, according to all that I show thee, after the pattern of the Mishkan. Now, this is very important, my brothers and sisters. You're gonna see here a number of different times where the Most High says, according to the pattern of the Mishkan, or the temple, or the tabernacle, okay? According to the pattern of the tabernacle, okay, with all of the instruments thereof, even so shall you make it. Now, we're going to find out a little bit later that Moshe was actually shown a pattern or an example, okay? Some would even say a blueprint, but it wasn't a blueprint. If we could say it's a blueprint, it would have to be a holographic blueprint. But the Most High showed Moshe the pattern of things and the way things were to look by means of his own temple and his own palace. Here we understand that Moshe, in dwelling with the Most High on the mount for 40 days, was offered an opportunity to see into those other worlds, those other realms, and to actually see the Most High in his habitation. What do you mean in his habitation? In his temple, in his tabernacle, where he is, Moshe saw the pattern. And so now the Most High is going to rehearse and let Moshe know exactly what he needs in order to accomplish that same pattern. And in this, it's about to get real. This is, listen, on earth, and this is what the Most High is doing. He's establishing on earth what he has designed in glory. Now, I know it's going to get really technical. It's going to get really detailed, and you need to have this long, and you need to make it that long. Here's what I want to invite you to do. As we're going through all these particulars and things that are measured out, like to the, seemingly to the inch, as we go through this, I want you to embrace this simple truth. And that one, the reason why this has to be so meticulous and it has to be so exact is because it is what is up in glory. It is in that spiritual realm, if you will. It is in that mirror temple of Hashemayim. It is exactly what is there. So as we read through this, we're actually getting a description of the tabernacle of the Most High that did and does exist in the realms of spirituality. With that being the case, yeah, let's go in, because now it becomes real, not just a pattern, but it's going to live physically in our own existence. Well, here, Moshe is told, make sure that you make it according to the pattern. This is not for you to make it on your own. It's not for you to get creative and say, oh, I'm gonna just have butterflies over here and no. You make it according to the pattern, which means it has to be exact. The Most High knows exactly what he's doing, and it has to be exact. Therefore, in verse number 10, he says, you know what? They're going to make an ark of shittim wood. Okay, and it's going to be not some dimension that you create, but no, it's going to be 2 cubits and a half. Okay, shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half the height thereof, and you shall overlay it with pure gold. Within and without, you're going to overlay it, and basically, you're going to make a crown of gold, right? And you're going to do all this, and you're going to fulfill all this according to the pattern that I showed you. Verse 12, and you shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them in the 4 corners thereof. The 2 rings shall be in the one side of it, and the 2 rings on the other side of it. And thou shalt make staves of shittim wood, and overlay them with gold. Verse 14, and thou shalt put the staves into the rings, so that the priest can carry it by the sides of the ark, that the ark may be borne with them. The staves shall be in the rings of the ark, they shall not be taken away from it. Okay, so in the movie, when you see the Ark of the Covenant, when you Raiders of the Lost Ark, you see the Ark of the Covenant, but you don't see the staves. Okay, you don't see the staves there, but the staves were always there. The staves were always accompanying the Ark. The staves were always there, and they were never intended to leave. Okay, they were always there. And if you notice here, verse number 16, and thou shalt put into the ark the testimony which I shall give thee. Now, this is interesting. Verse number 16, the Most High says, you know what? The ark, it's going to have something in it. It's going to have the covenant. It's going to have the words that I'm giving you. Why? Because you need a copy and I need a copy, because this is a contract. Anytime you have a contract, both parties have to have the contract so that you know what's up, what the deal is, how to obey, what to do, what not to do. And so the ark has the covenant. Therefore, when we come before the Most High, what do we come with? We come with the covenant. We come with his word, right? We come with his word. We come with the testimony, and we say, you know what? Hey, the ark of the covenant is what we're coming with, because the ark of testimony and the covenant is what we're coming with. Why? Because it is a legal agreement between us. Notice the Most High said, I am Yah, I do not change, meaning I'm not changing. I'm sticking with the covenant. Psalms 89 and 34. He says, I don't change. Malachi 3 and 6. That's why you're still living, because I don't change. If I did change, I would have bumped you off a long time ago, because you really did deserve it. But hey, I'm going by the covenant. Well, we find here that there was a copy of the covenant and a testimony put right there in the ark, okay? Because each member of the contract needs a copy of that contract. And thou shalt make a mercy seat of pure gold, not a judgment seat where I'm gonna punish you and throw lightning bolts at you, but I want you to make a mercy seat of pure gold. 2 cubits and a half shall be the length thereof, and a cubit and a half shall be the breadth thereof. And thou shalt make 2 cherubim of gold of beaten work. Thou shalt make them, and they're basically there's going to be 2 of them, right? And 1 cherub on the one end and 1 on the other, and they're going to point their wings at each other, okay? They shall stretch forth their wings, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another. Toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubim be. Now, the reason why this is significant is because individuals have said, you know what? Man, this is such beautiful decoration on the Ark of the Covenant. This is beautiful decoration. Please understand that this is not just, it's decorative, but you have to understand what's really happening here, okay? If we were to take a look, and by the way, we're going to also see this, that there were images there were images that was allowed to be put into the tabernacle. Okay. What images? Well, there were curtains that had cherubim, that had these angelic beings with wings that to us would have looked monstrous. Okay. But they were guarding the holies of holies. Notice the similarity. Also on the ark itself, you have the cherubim that are covering, notice the cherubim are covering the mercy seat. Okay, what is that about? They're overshadowing the mercy seat because of what the cherubim do. The cherubim are an angelic class that basically have the purpose of shielding and guarding things that are holy. Okay, but in this particular case, as we've seen in Exodus 20, they were there as a kind of a shield and a filter at the mountain. Unless the presence of the Most High were to break out of that containment, they were a part of the containment, containing, holding back, okay, the power of the Most High, because if that power were to be unleashed, it would destroy. Okay, they had to hold back. They had to filter it down. They had to, like a step down transformer. They had to step down the power and hold back unless the mountain itself were to be destroyed. The mountain already started fire, right? Notice even at the burning bush, you had an angel, you had a malach, which again associated with the trees could have also been a cherubim, making sure that the tree only burned and was not consumed and held back the power of the Most High. Anytime you see cherubim, they're there to filter and to hold back and to protect humanity from the awesome power of the Most High, because just the very nature of the Most High is so powerful, which is why no one could look at him in his glorified state and live, because of the power of the Most High. Okay, so the cherubim had and do have the job of filtering and holding back and protecting the power of the Most High, because apparently it is, I mean, think about it for a second. It is the power that the world and all of creation is made of. So, I mean, it's more than nuclear power, more than any other kind of power. And so that's the job of the cherubim, right? Who also guarded the tree of life. Notice they didn't guard the tree of the life, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but they guarded the tree of life. Okay. Again, they cover and they filter and they make sure that we are kept safe from the overwhelming power of the Most High. Well, as we take a look at verse number 20, we see that their wings were stretched forth and they were covering the mercy seat and their faces were toward the mercy seat. Verse number 21, and thou shalt put the mercy seat above upon the ark, and in the ark shalt thou put the testimony, and I shall give thee. So in other words, mercy, the seat of mercy, is above the covenant. So the Most High will always honor mercy, even in judgment. Okay? He will honor mercy even in judgment, because even though it's a contract and even though we are under contract, he will definitely have mercy upon us. Okay, well, verse number 23, and you shall also make a table of shittim wood. 2 cubits shall be the length thereof, and a cubit shall be the breadth thereof, and a cubit and a half shall be the height thereof. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, and make thereto a crown of gold around about it. So it had nice, beautiful, decorative molding around it, all made of gold. Verse 25, and thou shalt make unto it a border of a handbreadth round about. So the border around the table was about 5 to 6 inches. Okay, and thou shalt make a golden crown to the border thereof about, and thou shalt make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings in the 4 corners that are on the 4 feet thereof. Now, please keep in mind, my brothers and sisters, that the reason why these measurements are so exact is because there was a pattern that Moshe was shown when he was in that glorious celestial realm, when he was dwelling with the Most High. In fact, once we get to Numbers, we're going to see where the elders of Israel did eat with the Most High, and the things that they saw, like pavement under the feet of the Most High. So basically, it's like the mountain became a portal into another dimension where they saw into these other spiritual realms. Moshe saw the pattern of things there, and now the Most High is saying, hey, here's the blueprint, because I want you to make everything that you saw. Well, as we continue, verse number 27, over against the border shall the rings be for the places of the staves to bear the table, and thou shalt make the staves of shittim wood and overlay them with gold, that the table may be borne with them. And thou shalt make the dishes, really? And thou shalt make the dishes thereof, and spoons, yes, spoons thereof, and covers thereof. What? You mean there's heavenly Tupperware? And covers thereof, and bowls thereof, to cover withal of pure gold shalt thou make them. Verse 30, and thou shalt set upon the table shewbread before me always. Okay? And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold. Of beaten work shall the candlestick be. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be the same. So this is basically the menorah. It is very decorative. It's beautiful. Okay. You're seeing that it is of beaten work. It's got branches and bowls and knops and flowers. It's not some plain candlestick, but it is beautiful. It is glorious, and it is made of gold. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. And you got 1 in the middle, so that makes 7. 3 bowls made like unto almonds. I want them to look like almonds. I want them to look like almonds. I want the bowls to look like almonds. Make sure you make them look like almonds, because that's what's up here, right? With a knop and a flower on one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds on the other branch with a knop and a flower. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds with their knops and with their flowers. And there shall be a knop under 2 branches of the same, and a knop under. So in other words, it's very decorative. It's beautiful. And yes, I want you to make it look like this. Why? Again, because that's what I got up here in this other realm, in the spiritual realm. That's what I got here. I'm dwelling with you. Okay. I'm going to abide with you. So I need things to be as they are here, right? I want, close to the same type of accommodation that I have up here. I don't want to come and just, it'd be like some foreign place. Nope. I like what I like. You make everything like this. And so, hey, this is what I look at all the time. And this is what I want to continue to look like. So, hey, make this that is in glory. I want you to make this right where you are. Well, verse number 37, and thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it. And the tongues, yes, there are tongues, and yes, there are snuff dishes. Yep, they shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it, with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was shown thee in the mountain. Once again, the Most High references the fact that Moshe saw the very pattern. In other words, he saw the very outlay, whether it was, again, holographic or whether it was, somewhat physical to him. Hey, whatever it was, Moshe saw it, and now he gets the opportunity to reproduce something that he saw in that divine glorious realm. He gets to reproduce that on the earth. I need to stop here and make a point. Because in this, we find the Most High reiterating what he had begun in the Garden of Eden. Eden itself was a spiritual place. It was a place where there were spiritual beings, which is why Eve did not have a problem even recognizing or talking to what would have been a seraphim, a serpent-like angelic being. Yes, there are seraphim, angelic beings that actually resemble, I know. I mean, I'm going to say this and others are going to be like, oh man, I don't believe you said that. But yes, they are reptilian or serpent-like, okay? But they are angelic beings, okay? Well, I know how that sounds, but hey, I have to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, regardless of how it sounds to some, but that's the truth. And so, the seraphim, those serpent-like creatures that are angelic in their nature, yes, they also take part in those spiritual realms, in those heavenly realms. Well, again, the Most High begun, okay? He begun allowing that level of spirituality where the earth resembled heaven, okay? That began in Eden, and it continues with the temple. It continues with the tabernacle, and it continues with a place, okay? A place of dedication where the Most High can abide, where the Most High can dwell. The Most High himself is bringing about the synchronicity, if you will, between heaven and earth, where the one looks like and the one acts like the other, okay? Which is, by the way, also what they were trying to do. Is a version of what they were trying to do in ancient Kemet and literally all over the world, not just in ancient Kemet. You notice that the three pyramids of Giza, that they line up perfectly with the belt of what we would call Orion, which back in that day was Asar. So this has always been something that men have been trying to do. But we find here that Moshe saw the pattern, and now the Most High says, look, I want you to make this exactly according to the image that you saw. This has always been the plan of the Most High. And by the way, this is also going to be what happens in the Messianic age, where the Most High dwells with us finally and forever. And we then are going to embark upon a change in our DNA, a change in life itself, a change whereby we will live, okay? The level of entropy in our cells reproducing is going to be reduced so much that we will live like trees. We will live for hundreds of years. And it is said that a baby will be 100 years old, okay? Well, yeah, that's something I'm telling you, you know? And by that, we learned that eternity is not the absence of time, but eternity is the multiplicity of time. That's why he's called the Ancient of Days. Well, let's continue, because in this we begin chapter 26 of Shemot, chapter 26, verse 1. Moreover, thou shalt make the Mishkan, the temple, the dwelling place, with 10 curtains of fine twined linen, their linen, and those of you that know, linen has a particular frequency to it. It is said that it carries a particular energy signature. Linen was also what the priest wore. He says, you know what? You're going to make 10 curtains of linen, and blue and purple going to be their color, with cherubims of cunning work. They had cherubims, images in the curtains, okay? This is to be noted because many people feel like, oh, she images, you know, in Israel, we didn't have no images. Well, that's not true. That's not true. And some scholars have said, well, see, these are the images that are being referenced when it comes to Hosea saying that you're going to be without an ephod and without a teraphim and basically without images. There were images in the tabernacle. There were images in the temple. Okay. And he says, you know what? Hey, I want you to make cherubims of cunning work, okay? They're going to be there. They've got a purpose for being there, because we are actually simulating what is in glory, what is in the spiritual realm. So, hey, I want you to make sure that you make these cherubims. The length of the one curtain shall be 8 and 20 cubits, okay? 8 and 20 cubits. And the breadth of one curtain, 4 cubits. and every one of the curtains shall have one measure. Now, please keep in mind that we're talking cubits. I know some people, they sometimes get a cubit mixed up with a span. A span is like the distance of your between the tip of one's thumb and the tip of one's baby finger on an average man when they stretch out their hands. They use this as a measure. It was called a span. Well, a cubit is from the tip of the longest finger to the elbow. Okay, that's a cubit. So now there is a general length for this, but what my reason for going over this is that when you look at this, and when you look at the size of the curtain and therefore the size of the cherubim, that is the image on the curtain, it stands to show that the cherubim itself, or themselves, because there were two more than likely, right? That they were actually very large beings. Okay? Again, these are angelic beings that to us would be like, hey, almost monstrous. Let's continue. The 5 curtains shall be coupled together one to another, and the 5 curtains shall be coupled one to the other, and thou shalt make loops of blue upon the edge of one curtain from the selvaged in the coupling, and likewise shalt thou make in the outermost edge of another curtain in the coupling of the second. 50 loops shalt thou make it. Now, please keep in mind, I just want to point this out, because there is a place where we also see where blue is mentioned. Okay, blue, notice here in verse number 4, 26 and 4, we find that, yeah, blue is mentioned here in the temple. Blue is mentioned in the curtains, that you're to have a loop of blue, but also it's mentioned in the tzitzits. Okay, it's mentioned in the, what we call fringes. Blue is to be intertwined in the fringes. Okay, and it is suggestive that the loop or the fastening of that particular tassel, as some have called it, or tzitzit or fringe, it has to be blue. So a proper fringe or tassel or, tzitzit, whatever you want to call it, if there's not blue in it, it's wrong. Also, it's not supposed to look like the border of somebody's curtains. It's supposed to be only on the 4 corners. Well, hey, that's something that we could get into. In fact, I did a lesson on tzitzit, did a lesson on fringes, that the Most High said, make sure that you wear them. Well, let's do this. Verse number 5, 50 loops shalt thou make in one curtain, and 50 loops shall thou make it, the edge of the curtain that is in the coupling of the second. And the loop, okay, that the loop may take hold one of another. So they're intertwined, the loops are. And thou shalt make 50 taches of gold, and couple the curtains together with the taches, and it shall be one Mishkan. In other words, attach is how you join these curtains together. And thou shalt make curtains of goat's hair to be a covering upon the Mishkan. 11 curtains shalt thou make it. So you're talking about a real heavy curtain. You're talking about something that definitely blocks light. The length of one curtain shall be 30 cubits, and the breadth of the one curtain 4 cubits, and 11 curtains shall be all of one measure. Again, Moshe saw the pattern, and the Most High said, make it like this, because this is what you saw in glory. This is what you saw in this other dimension. And so he gives him more dimensions and more curtains and more loops. Okay, and for him to make more thatches of brass, right? And then he says, hey, and the remnant of the curtains, look at verse number 12, 26 and 12. And the remnant that remains of the curtains of the tent, hey, the half of that curtain remains. Listen, I want that to hang over the backside of the Mishkan. In other words, I want that to also be a part of the covering, and the cubit on the one side and the cubit on the other side of that which remains, yeah, it's going to overlap. Now, this symbolizes the concealment at the mountain, where there was, they made sure that no one was going to break through. They made sure that no one was going to peep through and see. And because someone might want to see what's going on in there, says, you know what? We want this to overlap. We want to make sure that everything is covered. We don't want anyone breaking through, trying to peep into. Why? Because if you step foot into the holies of holies, hey, that was skull and crossbones for you. That was a problem. You were about to be killed, doorknob, dead. Well, okay, so you shall make a covering for the tent of ram skins dyed red, and a covering above of badger skins, and thou shalt make boards of the Mishkan of shittim wood, standing up. 10 cubits shall be the length of a board. And so he gives them the boards, how to fasten it together, the length that they're going to be, the corners, how to put the corners together. No, this is not a Lego set, but this is how I want you to do it. I want you to get some sockets, and you're going to do it this way. And so we find all of these instructions, which are amazing that they're so detailed. They're there because Moshe is making something just as he saw it in glory. Verse 31, and thou shalt make a veil of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen of cunning work. With cherubims shall it be made. So now we have, again, more curtains with cherubims on them. Okay. More curtains with cherubims on them. And if you notice here, those of you reading the app, you see that I have a note here. Okay. And looking at that note, notice what it reads. The temple, as designed by the Most High, has the image of cherubims embroidered within the veil of the temple, which apparently separates the Holy of Holies. Israel and its temple was not imageless. Even I, am Yah. Okay, that is exactly what the Most High said. He says, I'm Yah, you make this according to the image that I show you. So this proves that there were images in the tabernacle, in the temple, in the Mishkan, right? Verse 32, and thou shalt hang it upon 4 pillars of shittim wood overlaid with gold, and their hooks. Yes, I want them to have hooks of gold upon the 4 sockets of silver. So again, everything is laid out. Okay. Verse number 33, and thou shalt hang upon the veil under the taches, that thou mayest bring in there within the veil the ark of the testimony, and the veil shall divide unto you between the holy place and the most holy. Okay, so there was a separation between the holy and the most holy, right? And thou shalt put the mercy seat upon the ark of the testimony in the most holy place. And thou shalt set the tables without the veil. In other words, you're going to set the table, okay, on the outside of the veil and the candlestick, right? But the Holy of Holies only has the ark in it, okay? And thou shalt make for the hanging 5 parts of shittim wood. And he tells him exactly what to do. Now, the last chapter, chapter 27, verse 1, it says, and you shall make an altar of shittim wood 5 cubits long and 5 cubits broad. I know, this is very detailed. This is like really, 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 really detailed. And it's like, you know what? Make it these many inches and then make it like, and I get it. It can be very meticulous, somewhat monotonous, but it's fascinating when you understand that Moshe is making this according to the, I'm going to call it a holographic blueprint, if not the actual temple itself. Okay. And that is what makes this fascinating, that these are the things that the Most High has around him. That is what makes this fascinating for me. Well, let's continue, because chapter 27, verse 1, hey, you're going to make an altar. So guess what? There's an altar that the Most High has in that spiritual domain. Now, please keep in mind that there's another thing that fascinates, or I should say that is fascinating about this, is that they have these items in the spiritual realm to do things with. Okay, so there is a temple. The Most High has a throne. So you have a priest class in the spiritual realm. You have an altar in the spiritual realm. And all of this is, again, fascinating for those reasons. Well, verse number 3. And thou shalt make his pans. Yes, there's pans. There's going to be ashes and basins. And thou shalt make for it a grate of network of brass. Okay, and upon it thou shalt make 4 brazen rings. So he's given him all of these things to make. You need more staves, and you need an altar, and you're going to put rings in there, and the boards are going to be hollow, and we just go on and on with all of these details. Okay, you're going to have sockets of brass, but you're going to have silver over here, and you're going to have. So Moshe is taking all of this in, what is needed, how many there are. And of course, as we take a look here, it gets very detailed, even to the point of the length and where things belong, okay? And he says in verse number 19, all the vessels of the Mishkan in all the service thereof, and all the pins thereof, and all the pins of the court shall be of brass. Interesting. Why not gold? Okay, again, there is symbolism and significance to everything that we see here. Thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure olive oil beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. Verse 21, in the Mishkan of the congregation, on the outside of the veil, or on the other side of the veil, which is before the testimony, Aaron and his sons, Aharon and his sons, shall order it from evening to morning before Yah. It shall be a statute forever unto their generations on behalf of the children of Israel. It shall be a statute forever. Now, there is something that I want to say. Do you recall, and in fact, let's ask the question right when I come back. Okay, let's ask the question. Well, what question you talking about more? Well, okay. Here's the question. What does chapters 25 through 27, and of course we could say more, right? But what do these chapters have to do with Genesis 6, and perhaps even the book of Enoch? Is there a correlation? Is there a connection? Right now, I need that soundbite. Give us the backdrop. What would be the backdrop to that? Well, please understand, my brothers and sisters, that what we're seeing here is listen, I know it's detailed, right? But notice what the Most High says. He says in two different places, make sure that you make this according to the pattern of what you saw. In other words, make sure that you make this according to what you saw up here. Okay? That's how I roll. That's how I dwell. That's how I want it. That's what I like. That's what we need. That is what you're going to reproduce right there. Okay? On earth in that physical dimension. Why is that significant? It's significant because it implies that there is a way in which spiritual things work, and there is a way that the Most High has established that according to the book of Enoch, which by the way was a major read for the Qumran community, okay, of the first century, we could say BCE, before the Common Era. The Qumran community, man, the book of Enoch was everywhere. The book of Enoch, even though it is laced with Zoroastrian dualism, the book of Enoch itself was everywhere. But what do we find in the book of Enoch? It also substantiates that there is a spiritual system, a spiritual operation, a way that things work in the spiritual realms that requires utensils and requires things and procedures. There is a way in which those spiritual things work that are eternal in their nature. In other words, it's the way that the spiritual realm works, period. And I want to say that when you take a look at the temple, you're not just seeing, oh, that's just what they do. Them Hebrews, they just, they just like it like that. No, that's not the case. When you have a temple, when we have a temple, we have to understand that we are connecting with a spiritual system that stretches all throughout eternity, and it is the way that spirituality works. I know that may be a little too deep for some because they want to keep the Most High in spirituality in this kind of like, oh, is this everything's invisible and nothing happens and nothing, and God is just a spirit. No, those are Christianisms where the Most High is simply a spirit. The ancients didn't believe that, and the Tanakh does not say that. Okay, the Christian New Testament says that. Okay, but the Christian New Testament is interlaced with Greco-Roman philosophy and paganism. And so, again, we do not subscribe to it. Okay? Well, with that being the case, understand that when you look at the temple, you're looking at not just something that is physical, but something that represents the establishment of a spiritual set of laws and operations that the Most High Himself participates in. I would say more, but I need to just leave that on your mind and let you think about the fact that there are spiritual procedures that require spiritual things. If I were to even be so specific, tongs and spoons and tables, and there are spiritual things that the Most High uses and requires in order to operate spiritually. I'm Melky Uriel. We'll be back with your questions for this segment when I return.
Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Oh.
I just want to say, those of you that saw that old dude, that picture that you just saw, hey, this is the real way I look. Oh man, they got me looking old on that, man. AI, boy, I'm telling you. All right, so listen, let's take a look here. Let's see if there are any. Yeah, definitely true, Brother Adrian. He says that the ark required specificity also, definitely, right? The priest had to be barefoot when they bore it. The staves had to be permanently stationed within the ark, right? And so, yeah, that is very significant. Now, listen, at this particular point, what I'm going to do is listen, let me say this. Those of you that have questions to ask, I'm just going to say, first off, foremost, I want you to ask your questions. I don't want to have to search through all of the, hundreds of comments, right? I just simply want to, oh my goodness, hold on here. Let me make sure that we have the call-in line. I think someone just tried to call in, and I apologize. Let me make sure that the call-in line is open. Yeah, let me make sure. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let me double check something here. Yeah, I think we are good to go here. Okay. All right, so the call-in line is open if you want to ask your questions. Those of you that are in the chat room, you can call, or those of you watching, you can call. The number is scrolling underneath me, and so you can feel free to call in. Now, I want to say that we're entertaining questions about this segment, okay? Again, we don't need to know how long Methuselah's grandmother's hair was. We don't need to know any of that, or what color dress was she wearing when, no, let's not ask crazy questions. But let's go ahead and ask questions concerning this particular portion here. And
Call from
all Our brother Adrian is calling. All right, all right. Shalom, my brother. How are you?
Hello, Marie. How are you? I'm well. Blessings to the family.
Thank you. Thank you. Peace and blessings to yours as well.
Thank you. Just wanted to make a quick observation about this portion, the specificity that Yah requires. I know for a fact, based on some things we've seen throughout the Torah, if they did not follow those instructions, there would have been destruction. And I say that because I look at how you see how the corn days when they came against, they got their censer and put their little incense on it. They were burned up.
Yes.
You look at the Nadab and Abihu, they were destroyed because they didn't follow things to the T. I'm thinking, if Noah had not followed directions according to what Yah said, they wouldn't have made it on that ark.
No.
So it's important and critical that we follow what Yah says, because although he has a purpose and sometimes he doesn't tell us, it's like you said, there are spiritual reasonings behind what he does and why he does it that we may never understand. But that's all I wanted to say. Now I'll go ahead and shut up and get off of here.
Well, bless you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And very true, very insightful. Thank you very much for that. Yes, the level of specificity is, it's to be noted. People often have said in other religions, like, well, God knows my heart. The Most High knows my heart. No, there is a reason why he has things the way that he has them. There's a reason why things must be the way that they must be. And I admit, many a times we don't know why that is. We don't understand. That's because we may not have the bigger picture. The Most High, not only does he have the bigger picture, but he manufactured, he made it, he created the bigger picture. And so this is why we have to obey and really concentrate on obeying, okay? Obeying what the Most High has said and not trying to superimpose our ideas. Well, I think this is okay, or I think, that's all right, or I think. No. We do it the way that the Most High wants us to do it, and that's basically that. Let me see here if we have any other. Oh, is Gilly in the house, y'all? Did Gilly pop in the room? Peace and blessings to you, Gilly. Where you at, Gilly? Also, let's see here. Yes, my brother George Evans says that the cherubim were holding back all the glory of the Most High. Yes, for us to see the Most High in all of his glory. Man, peace and blessings to Marie Tobias. Peace and blessings to you, my sister. Glad that you're here. To see the Most High in all of his glory, to say that it's brighter than the sun is an understatement. He created the sun, right? The sun is not as bright as he is, but the glory of the Most High is amazing, and it's even so powerful until we and physical creation must be protected from it. State your questions, please, your comments. You also may call in. I'm going to give it just a few more minutes. And let's see here. If there is any other questions, let me know. And we will continue. All right. Good to see you, Gilly. Glad to see you, man. Glad to see you. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Looks like this is the end of our questions. So guess what we're going to do? We're going to go into... we're going to go into another segment. Be right back. Hi, I'm Melchior Uriel, and I want to come to your church or to sit down with you, Pastor, and have a build where we discuss, open up scriptures, and discuss the realities behind the Hebrew way of life and following the laws. Please call the number below, and if unanswered, please leave a message. Thank you. Shalom.
Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Oh.
And let me, I see from our elder, yes, very correct. And what she has said does deserve to be repeated. It does deserve to be mentioned. She says, you know, we're not to worship these images. Yes, there were images in the tabernacle, in the Mishkan, okay, the Mishkan, but we were not to worship them, okay? Now, with the thinking of Christianity and with the thinking of other Greco-Roman concepts, they would suggest, oh, well, you know, since the the cherubim are guarding, you know, the Holy of Holies and the Most High, you need to, you know, you need to bow down to them first. And, you know, and you have movies like that where they represent that concept in the Sphinx. You know, you have to answer the riddle of the Sphinx and go before the Sphinx before you can move forward. Well, bottom line of it is the Most High doesn't say that at all. It says, listen, if you're righteous and you're walking according to what I've told you to do, aka you're my appointed priest, hey, you deserve to be in here, okay? But you got to come correct. It's got to be right. And so, yes, the Most High says there's going to be images surrounding the Holy of Holies. You had not just cherubim, you also had trees and pomegranates and other animals represented, but no one bowed down to them to worship them. No one said, these are our mediators, okay? No one said this at all, okay? But basically, hold on here, we have a slight issue. Okay, hold on here. Give me just a second.
Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Oh.
All right, sorry about that. Had a little bit of a technical difficulty there. We had to get beyond that. But hey, let's keep it moving. And you're right, my beloved elder, that we're not to kneel before the altar and to worship, you know, any other, especially not JC, right? We don't worship a man. I don't care how much I say, oh, that's really Yah in the flesh. Well, see, that's madness, and that's a concept that was invented by a council of Roman individuals who, by the way, you got to ask the question, how in the frog legs does this work, where you have the Romans, the very ones that were responsible for killing this Jewish Messiah, messianic figure, how is it that you are trying to kill this liberator, but then you're going to take over the movement, and now you make a religion about him, and now you want the whole world to bow down to him, and then you say, oh, by the way, we're taking his place and now we rule everything? I mean, no one thinks that that's suspicious. I do. Well, with that being the case, hey, I could say more, but let's move on. Let's move on to our other segments. We'll be right back with our segment.
A pharmaceutical investigator is sitting in a parked car outside a small office building near the Nashville airport. He's been there for hours. He's watching a door that's supposed to belong to a pharmacy that claims to serve over 2.5 million patients. But no patients are showing up. No FedEx trucks, no UPS trucks, no one walking in with a prescription, and no one walking out with a bag of medication. Instead, what he sees is a truck loading up boxes, hundreds of them, and driving 20 miles away to unload them at 9 different locations scattered around a Nashville suburb.
Okay. So why is this crazy?
That investigator worked for Eli Lilly, one of the largest pharmaceutical companies on planet Earth.
Okay.
And what he was watching, according to a lawsuit filed in federal court, was the final piece of evidence in what Lilly now calls a $200 million fraud scheme.
What?
One that allegedly...
$200 million fraud scheme? Wait, a $200 million fraud scheme? Really? Why would this be crazy?
Used the name, the trust, and the members of one of the largest black religious denominations in America to pull it off.
What?
The church is the Church of God in Christ, COGIC for short.
By the way, that's Kojic, not Kogic, but... What?
Millions of members, thousands of congregations. A history stretching back over a century. And now, some of its most prominent leaders, including a sitting bishop who sits on the church's 12-member...
Oh no, not Sheard, not Bishop Sheard. Oh no.
...general board, are named defendants in a lawsuit that reads less like a civil complaint and more like a screenplay for a con artist thriller. Today, we're breaking down exactly what Eli Lilly is alleging, who is named, what COGIC itself has said in response, and what happens next. Because this story is still very much unfolding in real time. Stick around, because by the end...
Yeah, but y'all just keep jumping and huckabucking, because you know that's what the Most High wants, right?
...of this video, you're going to understand...
It don't matter what you do. It's just, you a king's kid, so you can do stuff like that, and as long as you huckabuck and shout, you all right.
...and exactly how a cost-share program that was supposed to help church members afford diabetes medication allegedly turned into one of the more brazen rebate fraud schemes prosecutors and corporate lawyers have laid out in years. Let's get into it. Who is COGIC? And why does this matter?
Dude, it's Kojic.
Before we get into the lawsuit itself, let's set...
Okay, I mean, we can't blame them, right? I mean, this is probably being read by AI. AI doesn't know.
...the stage, because the scale of this institution is a big part of why this story matters. The Church of God in Christ was founded in the late 1800s and has grown into one of the largest predominantly black Christian denominations in the United States, with millions of members and congregations not just across the country, but around the world. It's headquartered in Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, I used to belong to Kojic, right? Many of you probably did. Maybe there will be some that will watch this that will also belong to Kojic, but this is surprising. Yeah, but it's also very crazy.
And it's led by a presiding bishop, currently Bishop J. Drew Sheard, who took on that role in recent years and
Sheard
has made health equity in black communities one of his signature priorities. That detail matters, because the very health initiative he championed is now at the center of a massive fraud allegation. COGIC isn't just a church in the traditional sense, it operates like a sprawling institution, with departments, charities, missions programs, credit union partnerships, and yes, health and pharmacy adjacent programs designed to help members afford things like prescription medications. One of those programs was something called the Community Health Initiative, also known internally as the COGIC Department of Health. On paper, it sounds exactly like what you'd want a large church denomination to build, a cost-sharing program that helps members, many of whom are older, on fixed incomes and managing chronic conditions like diabetes, get access to expensive medications they might not otherwise be able to afford. That's the story Kogik's health program told the world. Eli Lilly says it was a front. The lawsuit drops in mid-May 2026. Eli Lilly and Company, the maker of the blockbuster diabetes drug Trulicity, filed a 66-page civil lawsuit in federal court in South Florida. And when you read through what's alleged in that filing, it becomes clear Lilly's legal team didn't just stumble onto this. They built a case. Here's the setup, according to the complaint. Trulicity is an injectable medication used to help people with type 2 diabetes manage their blood sugar. It's expensive, retailing north of $1,000 for a supply, which is exactly why pharmaceutical companies like Lilly offer rebate programs. The idea is simple in theory. A pharmacy or a cost-sharing program purchases the drug, dispenses it to real patients, and then applies for a rebate from the manufacturer to offset what those patients actually paid out of pocket. Lilly alleges that a company called Drug Place, operating out of Florida and Tennessee, was doing something very different. According to the lawsuit, Drug Place was purchasing enormous quantities of Trulicity. We're talking hundreds of thousands of boxes between 2020 and 2025. And then, instead of dispensing that medication to actual Kogik members, allegedly reselling it on the secondary pharmaceutical market to other pharmacies and medical practices. Then, and this is the part that turns it from a business dispute into an outright fraud claim, Lilly says Drug Place and its partners used a chain of intermediaries to disguise where the rebate claims were really coming from, and submitted paperwork claiming the medication had gone to real, verifiable Kogik patients. Lilly's lawyers put it bluntly in the filing. They wrote that the entire cost-share program and the businesses behind it functioned as fronts for a fraudulent rebate operation. Strong language. And they didn't stop there. According to Lilly's data analysis, which the company says it conducted after noticing suspicious patterns in 2025, nearly every single Trulicity prescription submitted through this program showed the exact same quantity and the exact same 30-day supply period, with almost no refills and almost no reversed claims. That's not what real-world prescription data looks like. Real patients miss doses, request early refills, switch medications, cancel prescriptions. This data, Lilly alleges, looked manufactured because, they claim, it was. And to justify purchasing that volume of medication in the first place, Lilly says Drug Place and its partners claimed that Kogik had roughly 7 million members, with 2.5 million of them enrolled and eligible for the community health program. Big, church-sized numbers, used, Lilly alleges, to make an enormous drug order look legitimate on paper. The stakeout now here is where the lawsuit stops reading like a spreadsheet and starts reading like a detective novel. According to the complaint, Lilly didn't just crunch numbers from a distance. The company sent an actual...
Well, we could get more into that, but bottom line, it is crazy because basically what he's saying is Church of God in Christ said, hey, we're going to help our members. Okay, so over 2 million of them who are diabetic said, okay, give me that program. But none of the members, apparently none of the members, or very, very few members, actually got the medication. But rather, what they're alleging is that Kogik turns around, the church turns around and says, hey, we're going to sell this for the full price, pocketing the amount of the discount, and then saying something like, oh, didn't God bless us? Oh, the Lord is good. God is good. God is good. Well, they got caught for it. And the thing about it is, I don't care what you say, but that's just crazy.
show you a website that you will not believe is making $50,000 a month. And
Oh, how would you like that in your Hebrew money bank account? $50,000 in a month? Okay, wait. Now you got to show me how you did that.
I actually cloned this using AI. But the reason that you won't believe it is because this is basically the whole business. Now you're probably sitting there like, Monique, what in the world are you talking about? But before you click off this video, let me show you what I mean. It is basically just a collection of calculators. I'm talking mortgage calculators, there's loan calculators, BMI, pregnancy, conversion calculators, you name it. So if you haven't figured it out yet, you are probably wondering, why does this even matter? And the answer is because people are searching for tools like these every single day. And once we come over here and enter calculator.net, we can see that in February alone, this website had over 47 million visits. Let me say that again. That's 47 million people that clicked on this in a month. Now, if that alone don't convince you, I know that the dollars will. So, calculator.net, how are they making money? It's through Google AdSense. Basically, as you scroll through the site, you'll notice different ads that are placed on here. It pops up. And these ads are not here to be cute. They are here to collect funds. And I hear you asking all of the right questions. Now you want to know how much are they actually making. And would you look at that? We need a calculator to figure this out. So, we have to enter a few numbers here, the visits per month, the pages per visit, which we are able to find here on SimilarWeb. Then we are going to estimate the ads that are on each page. I'll just say 1. And finally, we are going to plug in that CPM, which if you don't know by now, that is how much a person is paid per 1,000 views of an ad. Now, I always tell you this, I like to be conservative. Why? Because I am not out here trying to just sell you a dream. I want to keep it real. So we are going to say the CPM is $1, although that could vary depending on location, audience, a bunch of different factors. But with those numbers right there, that means this site could be making over $143,000 in a month. And let's say everybody's not going to all of these different...
What? 140? Do you understand the words that are coming out of $143,000 a month? Woo! I mean, you give me a year or two, I'm set for life. What?
Pages that SimilarWeb says, and they only getting 1 page view. That's still $47,000 in a month. Now listen, I need you to come in a little closer because I'm going to put a disclaimer here. This is for educational purposes only. We know that every single person who builds this website is not going to make $143,000 in a month. But if a simple site like this can make that type of money, we just want a piece of the pie. That's all. I want to show you.
I want a nice piece of the pie. I want a piece of the pie that I could share with my brothers and my sisters. Give me some of that pie.
How I was able to build a web app of my own that's similar to this one in under 10 minutes. And I was able to pull it off because why? I teamed up with AI. And the tool that I use for this is going to be Hostinger Horizons. Now, when you get on here, you will need a plan and not just a vision. Personally, I am using the starter plan because, of course, it allows me to create multiple websites. But on top of that, I can sell products and also offer subscriptions. Now, once you choose your plan, if you go ahead and enter my code journey, that will get you an additional 10% off. And it will take you right inside of what we need. You will see this lovely chat box here, and this is where everything begins. All we're going to have to do is give it a prompt telling it the type of website we want to create. But listen, I need you to hear me when I say this. This part right here could make you or break you. I know coming up, we have all learned that communication is the key that will open the doors that we need. And that same thing applies when it comes to AI. If you do not ask it the right thing, you will not get the right result that you are looking for. So to make sure I'm giving AI the instructions that we need, I am going to use ChatGPT. But I am basically explaining to it the type of calculator website that we want to recreate. I am telling it all of the different categories of calculators we want included, and I am asking it to generate a prompt that we can use for Horizon so that it will be able to understand. Why? Because we want all of us to be on one accord. And I am going to paste it right here. And notice how detailed this prompt is. It's really breaking it down. I'm telling you, the clearer you are with your instructions, the better the result will be. So once I hit enter, it starts doing its job, and I mean, it's writing code that I don't understand, but the good thing is I don't have to. And after about 5 minutes of building everything behind the scenes, this is what it created. Now, this is actually...
Well, you can actually take a look at this yourself, and you could actually, you could actually try this if you want. Again, I must say, as she said, this is for educational purposes only. Results will vary. No one's guaranteeing anything, but hey, if it's possible, you know what I'm saying? It's like, let's say, like I heard someone say, in fact, I heard Jesse Jackson say this once. He said, he said, I'm aiming for the stars, even if I hit the street lamp. So, I mean, hey, 147,000, whatever, 143,000 per month. I mean, if I were to fail and only get 50,000 per month, right? I mean, 20,000 per month would be, so hey, try this if you will, but any possible chance that we have brothers and sisters that can benefit and add to their Hebrew money, then hey, I definitely want that to happen for you. I want you to be blessed. I want you to be happy. And so anyway, I received a message saying, oh, hey, he's back. Redeemed 3423. He is back. Okay, you are back. All right. And the message that I received was, okay, was that you're back. So, hey, Redeemed 3423. How you doing, my brother? So, are you going to call in this time? The number's scrolling underneath me. I don't know what questions you have or what you're saying. It's kind of difficult for me to scroll back up and look at all of the different, comments here and fish through and try to find yours. So with that being the case, I mean, if you're willing to call in, I appreciate it. Otherwise, you're able to continue dialoguing with some of our family there in the chat room. So, I give you that option. Okay, and we'll go from there. Oh my goodness, Brother George Evans says, Redeemed, I thought you were redeemed, but you're here whining, crying, and calling names. Oh wow. Okay, I don't know what you all are talking about in the chat room, but oh my goodness. Seems like it's heated up in there. Interesting. Okay. Well, if you call in, hey, maybe we can have a dialogue. In fact, you know what? Perhaps we need to invoke Isaiah 1:18, which is, hey, come let us reason together. So, hey, I promise, you know what? If you play nice, I'll play nice. We don't bite until you bite first. But it looks like shots have been fired. Looks like we're biting and nipping at each other here in the chat room. Hey, if you want to, you're able to call in, right? And I'll leave it there. I'm not going to fish through the hundreds of comments to find what you're saying specifically. Okay. Okay. Well, all right. I'm going to leave that right there until he calls in. Hey, we're going to continue with another segment. Be right back.
These spiritual these spiritual concepts and see the political implications in them.
Now, this is Dr. Marimba Ani, and basically she brings up a very controversial topic. She is someone that I've listened to her years and years, and I mean decades ago, and she's always fascinated me. Her, along with Dr. Amos, Dr. Amos, why can't I think of his last name right now? Amos Wilson. Oh my goodness, powerhouses. She brings up such intricate details and comments that, wow, it is just interesting. Right now, she's suggesting that there is a political connection between religion and politics that needs to be observed. And I'm telling you, it is very true.
And that's what we haven't done on a conscious level. These spiritual concepts and see the political implications in them. And that's what we haven't done on a conscious level. Ancestor communion has tremendous political implications for the national consciousness of African people, because it says that that's where your strength is.
Okay, so let me just stop right here and just mention that, of course, she comes from a Pan-Africanist view, and basically she believes that the ways that have survived for thousands upon thousands of years that have caused humanity itself to prosper, that those were African ways, and that these ancient ways are yet and still alive and worthy. Well, here's the thing. The ancestral connection in Africa, basically that refers to, or I should say, that can be understood in context with the fifth commandment. You shall honor your mother and your father. Okay? And so in this, she's simply saying that there is a political reason why you would tell a people, don't you ever, go to your ancestors or honor your ancestors or even mention your ancestors. Of course, we're not talking about worshiping them. I think that I'm not sure if she actually gets into that concept of ancestral worship, but it's just the kind of, honoring of your ancestors. Again, as we honor our ancestors by saying that he is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. When we do that, when we say that, when we acknowledge him as that, we're acknowledging our ancestors as well. She is saying that this is political. And so even though this subject is somewhat controversial, let's see what she's saying and why.
And it's something that unites us as a people. If that religion is going to be used to do that, then they are going to have to demean the practices which would unite us with our source of power, which indeed were the practices of ancestor communion. So that what they would preach is that in believing in those things, you were being heathen, you were being pagan, those were superstitions, and you were being uncivilized. And if you want to be civilized, then take this civilized religion, you see, which was universally civilized for all people, when actually what they were preaching was a statement of European nationalism, something which would uphold the system that with which they were trying to control us.
Good evening and welcome to For the People. We're at the B.F. Randolph Cemetery in Columbia, South Carolina, where many of the African American legislators of the Reconstruction era were laid to rest. In this series of programs, we'll examine, among other things, African spirituality and the African concept of death. Our guest is anthropologist Dr. Donna M. Richards, author of Let the Circle Be Unbroken, The Implications of African Spirituality in the Diaspora. Dr. Richards is an associate professor in the Department of Black and Puerto Rican Studies at Hunter College in New York City. How does the African concept of God differ from the African American concept of God? Tough question, but
Well, no, it's only tough because you said African American. There's a term I have difficulty using because I almost find that a contradiction in terms. Okay, and I don't have problems saying that Africa is wherever we are born. That there is Africa reborn in us. Okay, so that the contrast is really between the African concept and the European concept for me. Okay. And even when we, as Africans in the diaspora, think that we are responding, you see, or try to respond to a European concept, our Africanness comes through.
or try to accept the European.
Okay? The African concept is of a force, a universal life force, which unites everything in the universe. That is all phenomenon, all being in the universe, which flows through everything, which gives meaning to everything. It's a source of spirit, of truth, of meaning.
Well, in Dr. Richards, who's also known as Dr. Marimba Ani, of course, she has a PhD. And as I said before, she's a powerhouse along with Amos Wilson. Her book, Urugu, is interesting because she takes the entire philosophy or the philosophical system with which societies are built on, and she puts it in African terminology. She puts it in African, according to an African worldview. And long story short, she has found that Eurocentric culture separates things, okay? Such as the Aristotelian concept of categorization, where things have to be separate and things have to be compartmentalized, and you deal with things in their separateness as opposed to dealing with them as a unified whole and dealing with them in connection with other things. So to put it in a nutshell, she looks at the African system as being that unites and makes whole, and the Eurocentric system that which actually separates and compartmentalizes, and then of course distorts and then misunderstands how everything operates as a whole. It's very controversial what she's saying, that there is a political side to spirituality, and I thought I would share it only because this is definitely been a controversial corner. Time for How Hebrew Are You? Do I know about service or slavery in the Tanakh? Do I know about service or slavery or indentured servitude in the Tanakh? Question number 1. Under Torah law, what was required when an Israelite servant completed the subscribed period of service? Under Torah law, what was required when an Israelite servant completed the prescribed period of service? Is the correct response A, the servant had to repay the original debt before leaving, or B, The servant was released but received no additional property. Or C, the servant was transferred to another household. Or D, the servant was to be released and supplied generously from the master's flock, threshing floor, and winepress. Or E, the servant remained bound until the Jubilee year. Gilbert St. John is the first to weigh in with the D. Gilly weighs in with a D. Also, Brother Adrian weighs in with a D. Crystal Moody, D. Ben Naftali, D. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with the B, and George Evans weighs in with the D. Raymond Radcliffe weighs in with the D. Christine Croning, also D. Miss H says, I think it's D. She's like, I think it's D. Elimelech Issachar weighs in with the D. Peace and blessings to you, my brother. And what could the answer be? Going once, going twice. And the answer is D. Yes, the answer is D. Under Torah law, what was required when an Israelite servant completed the prescribed period of service? The answer is D. The servant was to be released and supplied generously from the master's possessions. This reference comes to us from Deuteronomy 15, verses 12 through 15, which read, And if thy brother, an Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, be sold unto thee to pay their debts, right? And serve thee 6 years, then in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when you send him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty. Thou shalt furnish him liberally out of thy flock and out of thy floor and out of thy winepress of that wherein Yah, your Elohim, hath blessed you. You shall give unto him, and you shall remember that you were a bondman in the land of Mitzrayim, and Yah thy Elohim redeemed thee. Therefore I command thee this thing this day. Congratulations to everyone that did get that correct. Question number 2. What penalty did the Torah prescribe for kidnapping a person and selling that individual into slavery? What penalty did the Torah describe for kidnapping a person and selling that individual into slavery? Was it A, death, or B, financial restitution, or was it C, 7 years of forced labor, or D, public flogging, or E, permanent banishment from Israel? Our brother Adrian is the first to weigh in with an A. Elimelech Issachar weighs in with an A. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with an A. Mr. Wees weighs in with an A. beloved elder Christine Croning weighs in with an A. Miss H also A. Gilbert St. John weighs in with an A. And yes, Ben Naftali also weighs in with an A. Our brother Radcliffe, Raymond Radcliffe, weighs in with an E, as an echo, weighs in with an E. Going once, going twice. And the answer is... The answer is A. Congratulations to everyone that did get the correct answer. What penalty did the Torah prescribe for kidnapping a person and selling that individual into slavery? The answer is A. The kidnapper was to be put to death. Reference Exodus 21 and 16, Deuteronomy 24 and 7. If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel and makes merchandise of him or sells him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put evil away from among you. Congratulations to everyone that did get the correct answer. Question number 3. How were impoverished Israelites who sold themselves into service to fellow Israelites supposed to be treated? How were impoverished Israelites who sold themselves into service to fellow Israelites, how were they supposed to be treated? Is the correct response A, as permanent hereditary property, or B, as prisoners of war, as C, as foreign captives, D, as temple servants, or E, as hired laborers rather than ruthlessly ruled slaves? Our brother Adrian is weighing in with an E. George Evans weighs in with an E. Crystal Moody, E. Michael Charles Marsh, E. Raymond Radcliffe Jr. weighs in with an E. Mr. Wees weighs in with an E. And we have St. Tom 10 weighs in with an E. Miss H.E. Gilly weighs in with an E. My brother Elimelech Yisakar weighs in with an E. That is correct, as Tom 10, but it's not chattel slavery. There is a difference. So the answer is going once, going twice. The answer is E. How were impoverished Israelites who sold themselves into service to fellow Israelites supposed to be treated? Answer is E. They were to be treated as hired workers, not ruled over harshly. Leviticus 25, 39 through 43. And if thy brother that dwells by thee be waxed poor, and be sold unto thee, that thou shalt not compel him to serve as a bondservant, but as a hired servant, in other words, as an employee, and not as chattel slavery, not as a chattel slave, but as a hired servant, and as a sojourner, he shall be with you, and shall serve thee unto the year of Jubilee, and then shall he depart from thee, but he and his children with him, and shall return unto his own family and unto the possession of his fathers shall he return, for they are my servants which I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. They shall not be sold as bondmen. And so with that being the case, congratulations to everyone that did receive the correct answer. Question number 4. Question number 4. What protection was given to an enslaved person who escaped from a foreign master and sought refuge among the Israelites? What protection was given to an enslaved person who escaped from a foreign master and sought refuge among the Israelites? Is the correct response A? The person had to be returned immediately. B. The person could remain only until the next festival. Or C. The person was permitted to live freely in a place of his choosing and was not to be oppressed. Or D. The person became the property of the priesthood. Or E. The person had to serve an Israelite household for 6 years. Brother Adrian is the first to weigh in with the C. Christine Croning is the first to weigh in with an E. Michael Charles Marsh weighs in with the C. Mr. Wees weighs in with the C. Elimelech Yisakar also weighs in with the C. Raymond Ratcliffe weighs in with the C. S. Top 10 weighs in with the C. Ben Naphtali also weighs in with the C. Miss H weighs in with the C. Gilly weighs in with the C. Looks like we've got a consensus. Gilly weighs in with the C. Going once, going twice. What could the answer be? Our beloved elder says C is correct. So what could the answer be? Going once, going twice. And the answer is C. What protection was given to an enslaved person who escaped from a foreign master and sought refuge among the Israelites? The answer is C. You're right, our beloved elder, that is correct. C is the right answer. The escaped servant was not to be returned and could dwell where he chose without oppression. Reference comes to us from Deuteronomy 23, verses 15 and 16, which read, "Thou shalt not deliver unto his master the servant which is escaped from his master unto thee. He shall dwell with thee, even among you, in that place which he shall choose in one of thy gates, where it liketh him best. Thou shalt not oppress him." Congratulations to each and every one of you. This has been How Hebrew Are You?
Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Oh.
But every generation inherits a map, and we rarely question it. And we assume that because we have these Bibles with these maps in them, that those maps are where the Bible actually fits. But yet when archaeologists get right at it and they dig, and they find that there are no walls of Jericho, and there are no Nazareth at the right time, there's no lake the size that meets the needs of the lake that Jesus describes with the mountainous waves. When you start looking at the Bible itself, it doesn't always fit. There's lots of things that don't fit. And so the scholars tend to go the route of, well, they made up myths and stories to make the people look great. So David and Solomon and Moses and a lot of that stuff is myth to scholars because they can't show in the ground with archaeology that it ever happened where the maps said it should be. But the question that scholars generally and people we just don't ask is, if we read the text, would we read it differently, and would we map it in our minds differently? Would we expect different things? When we read of lions and crocodiles and apes and ostriches, would we be looking in one certain area, or we might consider another? And why would that be? Because when we go and excavate, let's say, modern Jerusalem, or Jericho, or Capernaum, or whatever it is, when we go and dig up what is there, it's not that there weren't any settlements, but when the settlements that there don't match at all, and there's no coinage for 1,000 years of Israel's history, there's no coinage found in the ground, the expectations start to go, and as the scholars have said, they start to see it more as myth. In order to keep the Bible in the maps we have to make the Bible myth, rather than thinking maybe the maps are myth and the Bible is accurate. And that's where I want to go with this. So I want to talk about the Exodus and dealing with the Yam Suf question for a second. And it says in Exodus 13:17, God did not lead them by the way of the Philistines, although that was near. And this line alone tells us that the Philistines controlled a major coastal or river coastal corridor. They were militarized and unavoidable if they went a certain direction, and Moses deliberately avoided going that direction. Oftentimes we're told that the Philistines were on the Mediterranean, but if they were put where we tend to have put them, it doesn't make a lot of sense since that was Egyptian land, and the Philistines being a large, major people, powerful people that would make Moses with 1 million people fear going that way. It doesn't make a lot of logical sense. So we could maybe consider that they were on the Red Sea, further down, slightly south along the between the Nile River and the Red Sea, and living in what would be Eritrea area now. But to avoid the Philistines, the Israelites went west. I want to make the point, I've done videos on this. They went across the Yam Suf, and so the word Yam Suf, which has been translated as the Red Sea, is actually better translated from the Hebrew into meaning Sea of Reeds. And since the Red Sea has no reeds or papyrus, it doesn't work very well. So the Red Sea is a poor translation. It actually has to be a freshwater body that they crossed, because that has reeds. Thus, it would be called the Sea of Reeds, or a large body of water that had reeds, which would be the Nile River or its tributaries. So they crossed the Yam Suf, or the Nile River, in my opinion, and went across the Nile, heading what we would call west from Egypt, probably along where we have the modern Aswan or Aswan Dam, and into sparsely populated wilderness, which would have been west of Egypt. It's very important to understand that in 3,000 years ago, it wasn't dry sand Sahara Desert. It was more like grasslands with rivers here and there. It was there weren't a lot of people living there, but it wasn't the landscape we see in the Sahara any longer now. It was quite different. It was more of a grasslands area. So when they took their cattle and their land and their people across and spent 40 years in the wilderness, they actually had, their animals could survive, as with their camels and all those things. But the people would have had nothing to live on really if they're traveling all the time. So they were given manna from heaven. And we notice too that there isn't a lot of talk in the scriptures about miraculous water being either healed or found There's a couple of times when they talk about the water, but the manna is daily, except on the Sabbath day. But the manna is continual for 40 years, whereas the water must have been there because they don't mention it. And what we consider the Sinai Desert today, east of Egypt, there's basically no water, certainly not enough water to sustain 1 million or 2 million people. So why did they take a detour, right? Why didn't they go, if they wanted to go south down into the lands where Abraham came from, because it says in the scriptures that Abraham went south when he went out of Egypt with Lot and his wife. So if they went south, that's where they were headed. Why didn't they go south along the east side of the Nile River? Well, probably that's, in my opinion, where the Philistines might have been. Who knows? I have no proof of that, but that would make sense, that the Philistines controlled the coastal area. So they had to make a detour into the wilderness. So Numbers 13 to 14 shows that the spies returned with fear. So they went into the wilderness. They went traveling down towards the south where they wanted to go, along established trade routes of the day, down towards where Sudan is today. They would have gone down that way. But when they were starting to go in where they would have been peopled areas, then they would have had to go to war. And Moses sent in the spies, as we know, and they all came back fearing except for Joshua and Caleb, who reported that it wasn't land flowing with milk and honey, as was reported. But the others came back fearing, and so Moses had the people spend 40 years more in the wilderness because they weren't ready to go in. They weren't prepared for the battles and the troubles that would come. So the solution in the text is 40 years of wandering in what was then what I could call the Sahel-like grasslands, what would be Mali, Niger, that area along North Africa.
Well, my brothers and sisters, there's many who are now coming to grips with the fact that Africa geographically does fit the topographical maps and descriptions that we find in the scriptures, rather than where we have been told. There is a video of one of the older Rockefellers stating that they invented the modern state of what we call, what everyone thinks is the Holy Land today. What everyone thinks is, people go there. In fact, there's a video of a woman crying. She's crying because they're saying, oh, this is the place, where Jesus was born. And this woman is losing it. I'm talking snot bubbles and everything. She is crying her eyes out, can barely get down the stairs because, again, it's been told, hey, this is where all of this began. But then many people disdain and hate Africa. Oh, Africa. Why Africa? I hate Africa. Africa. The media makes you think that Africa is a place where everybody lives in huts and, babies have flies all around them. And listen, this is so far from the truth. Long story short, I am embracing the facts that would surround the Bible being Afrocentric and by means of geography. And so when you really look at it, bottom line of it is you can't get around the fact that you don't have the same animals in modern day Palestine as are mentioned in the scriptures. So how do you deal with that? Well, again, the Torah is correct. The truth is there, but the landmass that we've been told is the Holy Land, well, that just simply may not be the Holy Land. And bottom line of it is, hey, I'm right.
Okay, fam, check it out.
It's time for Moshe in your kitchen.
After reading the thumbnail, you know what I'm doing, and we're getting ready to do it. We're going to do it together. We're going to do a chicken stew, right? I should have put this out a little bit earlier, because if you had leftovers, you could have made this into a what? A turkey stew. I'm using a pre-rotisserie, chicken. You guys can get whatever
Oh, you're cheating. You using a pre-rotisserie chicken? Really?
flavor you want, but we finna infuse it with a whole lot of different other flavors to make it just like over the top, right?
We back with AB. He just makes stuff sound so good. My brother, he makes stuff sound so good.
So we got some ingredients right here. Don't forget these will be on my website. That's smokingandgrillingwithab.com. That's WITAB.com. Now with that being said, we finna get it. Okay, so look, the first thing we finna do is we're gonna go ahead and melt our butter, right? Now I'm gonna give you guys another option. You can go with a half a stick of which is a half a cup of butter, or you guys can do the same, with a vegetable oil, canola, or my favorite, that's that extra virgin infused with that garlic. Okay, so this is what I'm gonna do here.
Canola oil, unless it's pure. I mean, it's those vegetable oils are not good for you. They are not good for you at all.
While we melting our butter, right, I've already washed and cleaned this up. I just like to give everything like a fresh start, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and just cut this down.
So I think he's going to put in there the trio, what they call the trio or the trinity: celery, peppers, and onions, which sounds mighty good to me because I am so hungry right now it ain't funny.
Okay, folks, so you see that right there? Let me tip this way. You know what I mean? Now we melted. Look at the color.
You see that right there? I'm a foodie. Look at that color. Look at that color.
No browning, no none of that, right? Now I'm going to come with my flour, because guess what, folks? It's fun time. We making a roux.
Now, I saw my mom do this a lot of times. She put the butter or oil in there, then she puts the flour and she browns it. I didn't know that was making a roux.
You get all of your flour in there and it's absorbed all of the butter and all of that, right? I raise my flame up. I'm getting a little bit towards like a medium now. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get this to darken up, right? It's almost like making a gumbo roux, right? But we want this to get more like a peanut.
Don't say gumbo. Don't say gumbo.
Buttery color, right?
And this is how I make my gravy. That's how I make my gravy, y'all. I make my gravy like that, but I have a little bit more oil. And then I put the water in it. Oh, makes such good gravy.
Okay, so you can see the way I cut this down. I don't really cube this down. Don't worry, it's gonna bust with flavor, in the inside of this roux.
Inside of this roux, see, this flavor's gonna bust. See, that flavor's just gonna.
Remember earlier I said we want peanut butter. That right there looked like peanut butter to me. Now, if you guys want to go darker, you can. But I want to let you know this too. I always give my onions a little bit of a head start, right? Don't worry about breaking them all up, because look, once they get this heat on them, and I get to moving them around with this spatula, they're going to start to separate. All right, now after giving this like a little bit of a head start, I'm going to be quiet because I want you guys to just listen to this right here. That's what
he is a true foodie. I mean, if you notice, he gets his senses involved. He's looking at the color and he wants the sound, and of course you got the taste, but there's also going to be texture. I mean, he is a true foodie.
What you want. And don't forget, the onion is full of water, right? You know what I mean? So that's what you're going to get a little bit of that sizzle. You shouldn't be doing it a whole lot, right? And now we just add the rest of our veggies in.
Oh, add the rest of our veggies.
Okay, so I give them maybe about 3 minutes, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to load up my garlic press, right? I got like 4 little small garlic, cloves. Now we just put this in here, right?
Okay, I like that garlic press because you twist it in order to press the garlic as opposed to just like trying to manhandle it, I like the twist. I'm going to have to get one of them.
How many of y'all are using a garlic press, or are you still mincing them yourself? Man, save the time, folks. Get yourself one of these. Make your life a whole lot easier. And if you guys don't know where to find them at, listen, I do have them in my Amazon store. I'll put them on a link wherever I can.
I do have them in my Amazon store.
Yeah, so you guys can pick them up. They're very, very inexpensive. And then right here, just because I know, I'm going to give this just a pinch of salt right now. I'm going to come with my black pepper. that don't come and make the magic happen. That's my Creole seasoning, and you guys know my tool of choice is Creole Kick. All right, so look, now, look, you want to take your potatoes. And the reason I'm doing it this way is I'm trying to cook more so and trying to film it the same way you guys would do it, right? So you just run through this. You see I got a bowl right here next to me, to my right, your left. That represents, you know, my water to keep everything from browning. You know what I mean? But we multitasking, right? So I can hear that my veggies are just about where I want them to be. What I'm getting
My veggies.
ready to do is add my chicken stock. You know what I mean? Then we just go from there, right? We'll continue to do this while that simmers a little bit, and then we go with it. But when you do this, I just want to show you this part right here, which is key, because you want it all to be together, be ready about the same time, right? So you want all your pieces to be about the same size, right? And if they're a little bit bigger, shut them, you know, cut them in half just like that, right? So now you see me, you know, pulling out my chicken, right? I went ahead and got myself a pre-done chicken, you know what I mean? Already been on the rotisserie, good to go. You know what I mean? So let me just break this down, then I'm going to shred them down. But meanwhile, we're going to go back to that pot.
Okay, I would really have to bite that. I'm sorry, I would. I'd have to bite that before it goes into the pot. I mean, especially with me being so hungry right now.
I'm going to show you something real cool. That's ready to go, right? Now we're going to bring in our 6 cups.
So is that 6 cups of broth? Did I miss that?
That chicken broth.
Okay, he just said it, chicken broth. Okay, so he didn't show us him pouring that chicken broth in there, but okay.
Then what you want to do is you just want to, you know, move this back and forth. You can see it's starting to look like a stew right now, right? And then everything that was like caked up on our veggies and all of that, you know what I mean? That's get released into our stock or broth. It depends on which one you guys use. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, I like the stock a little bit better. You know what I mean? Just a little bit of like a pinch of that kosher salt, like a generous pinch, and that just wakes it up, folks. Okay, so now that we coming back up to a boil, that's what I've been waiting on, right? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this to it. I'm gonna be careful though, because I'm putting them in there from there. I don't want to splash it. Believe me, that's hot. Now, we just want to move this, you know, get everything blended together. I'm gonna come with my corn. You see how it's coming together?
Okay, now that looks like a lot less chicken. That looks like a lot less chicken than that whole chicken. So I think he ate a couple of pieces of that before he put that in there.
Now for my chicken. It's up to you guys if you want.
Oh yeah, that don't look like meat from the whole chicken, yo. I'm sorry. I think he had a piece or two, and he had 2 chickens.
To put a whole lot of chicken in there, you can. You can shred it small.
Oh, did you miss that bone right there? Is that a bone? Do I see a bone right there?
Pieces bigger, however you want. So you can go all white meat, dark meat, mixed. You see, I put the whole bird in there. Any flavor that's left in my bowl, I want it to go on the inside too. So if you come in here and take a look, this is kind of like what you want. Now, I got an extra bird. I might shred that down and put just a little bit more in here, right? But I'm gonna put a top on here, and we're gonna go for about an hour. When we come back, then we finna eat, folks. Trust me, this right here is fire. Okay, folks, 1 hour. Let's take a look at it. Oh, look at that right there. Look at that.
Oh, that looks good, though. That looks good. But what are you going to eat it with? I mean, are you going to... But there's potatoes in it, so you wouldn't necessarily eat it with rice, right? So how are you going to eat this? Or are you just going to eat it in a bowl?
Yes, sir. Now, listen, if yours happen to come out a little bit more on the runny side or whatever, you know, you can always just add just a little bit of a slurry, right? What is a slurry? That's cornstarch and equal parts cold water, folks. And then under this heat, I've been cooking for a long time, folks. I know I don't need to, I was getting ready to tell you, I know I don't need to go ahead and put no, toothpick in there to check my potatoes. But you saw that right there? I'm going to do it one more time so you can see. Now, don't forget, it's a rubber spatula, right? So look, if I just take this right here and go like this, look, do you see how I just cut through that? Ain't nothing to talk about. I'm finna take me a couple of pictures inside this pot. You guys will let me know what y'all seen at the front for a thumbnail, and we about to taste this, folks.
Okay, I see he has a wedding ring on. I wonder if his wife cooks. I don't ever see his wife. I mean, I'm assuming that he's married because he has a wedding ring on. But at the same time, I just simply want to say, okay, so it looks like he's dishing it up in a bowl. I would need more potatoes if he's not going to use rice. Or, and maybe some cornbread too, right? Oh, he's got some crackers on. He got some Ritz.
Okay, folks, you see gloves off. I'm ready to chow down. I didn't already taste it. I guess you guys want to see me taste it, but look, I gotta bring these into the play right here. I guess some of you guys do the Ritz right here. You know that's me. But I'm gonna keep it real with you. My grandparents did them saltines, right? So I wish I had some saltines to put in here. But anyway, let's go ahead and get down.
But I mean, okay, crackers. I mean, okay, man, a piece of cornbread would have been excellent with that.
All right, and I want you to pay attention. Look, when that chicken, it gets to cooking and all that. You see how it's shredded in? Now look, we said chicken stew, so that means we want to have chicken in every bite, right? So without me over talking it, cheers, folks. I'm gonna tell you like this. That corn set it off, folks.
And that's interesting. He says that the corn set it off. Interesting. I would have thought that maybe the peppers would set it off, the onions would set it off, the rotisserie flavor in the chicken. But he said the corn of all things set it off. Man, I tell you what, I would eat it though. I'm so hungry right now. And
it's a combination of everything that we did. We tied it all together with that Creole seasoning, that Creole kick. I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to go sit next to a fireplace, play YouTube, look up a fireplace video, do whatever I got to do just to get that ambiance. I'm ready to dip and eat and relax, folks. Now, with that being said, let me know down in the comment section below. But I got to say this. Listen, I could have put a lot more ingredients in here, but I'm telling you, sometimes simple just works. It's the combination of the corn, the veggies. We did a roux, we seasoned. I put salt, pepper, fresh black. You know what I mean? All of that, and just cooking it down. Got that chicken in there, and everything just turns out just right. Now, like I say, talk to me down in the comment section below and let me know what you would do down at the bottom. Like maybe you got some kind of way, something I hadn't thought of. I would love to know about it. Now, if you're new to my channel, I ain't finna bore you guys. All you gotta do is like, subscribe, and tell the world that there's a channel out here that's simplifying these recipes and taking the mystery out of cooking. And check it out, folks. I already put down my grape Kool-Aid, so I'm gonna take it like this and this, and guess what, folks? I'm out. Peace.
He said he already put down his grape Kool-Aid. That's AB, man. That's AB. He's a foodie. I like him. He always makes things just sound so good because he pays attention to the color, the smell, the everything. I love it. I love it. Well, when I come back, we'll tiptoe into the chat room. There's something I want to mention to each and every one of you. And hey, we'll be right back.
Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat morning coffee. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Oh.
All right, we are back. Let me tiptoe into the chat room and see what you all may be saying. We're just about at the end of our session, and there is something that I want to share with you all. I am going to definitely keep up the schedule that we have here, of course. I was traveling before, and long story short, we kind of missed a little bit of the momentum, but it seems as if we definitely we definitely have regained that. All praises to the Most High. But yet and still at the same time, I want to let you all know that things are developing in my life. Things are developing and happening. And while I do plan on doing some traveling, I am yet and still going to keep up our regular schedule. The only thing that may be questionable is that the call-in number is going to Full song. Okay. Brother Adrian is asking. He says, "Can we get full song of Shabbat morning coffee?" Oh, you mean the the whole song of that? Yeah, we can work that out. We can definitely work that out. Thank you. I can definitely make that happen. I'll have to give myself a note to make that happen with everything that's going on. So with that being the case, so I am going to be traveling, but hey, I need you to be patient with me. We are going to keep up our same schedule. As far as you're concerned, nothing will have changed, okay? My goal is to make it so that nothing will have changed, okay? Nothing will have changed at all, except maybe the call-in number. Whether or not we're able to do the call-in number or not, I don't know. We'll see. But with that being the case, I want to thank you all. Listen, keep me in your prayers, and I do need your prayers. Remember me in prayer. Keep me in your prayers as I, venture into some new things in life here, and may the Most High bless you and keep you. I pray. I will continue to pray for you. I'll continue to be here for you. I was really waiting for Redeemed to call, but I didn't get a call from him at all. I wanted him to call. We could discuss. And I was going to be nice. I was going to be nice. But hey, there was no call from him. But yeah. Hey, I think it's time to eat and it's time to chill. I think I want to enjoy the rest of my Shabbat. So may the Most High bless you. May he keep you. I love you all. So glad that all of you stopped in to see us here. I'm glad all of you actually stopped in to be with us here. Those of you that have not joined our Hebrew community, we want you to join our Hebrew community. Go ahead, subscribe to this channel. Go ahead, join us in the chat room. We want you to be a part of us. If you love the Most High and you want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, he said, you know what? I'm the only one here. I'm the only one up here. There is no one but me. So, hey, I'm the only one that deserves your attention. So we've made a covenant with him, and I just simply want to say, I am very happy. I'm very happy to belong to the Most High. For the duration of my days and beyond, I belong to the Most High and I serve only him. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you, Miss Seeds. I appreciate it. Or Mrs. Seeds, I should say. May you all be blessed. May the Most High smile upon you and keep you. May you experience the fulfillment of the covenant. Okay? May you experience the fulfillment of the covenant, and may you experience the blessings of the Most High. You are blessed in everything that you put your hands to do. May you be blessed. May you know the Most High in the fellowship of his power and in strength, in righteousness, in true salvation, in true peace. The shalom of the Most High. May the Most High bless you. May he keep you. I love you all. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings to you. May the Most High bless you. We'll talk with you soon.